So just for the benefits of the tape, this is being recorded, but it's only me that's getting recorded, unless you unmute yourself, in which case you are kind of just letting me know that you don't mind the world seeing your face. So you kind of, that's your way of saying, that's fine, I don't mind people I don't know seeing me. And I can't guarantee who's going to get that link. I do send the link out, and I can't guarantee if that gets passed on to people, things like that. So just be aware of that. If you do want to say anything or ask any questions, go into the chat and type away if you want to do that. So I'm well excited because I've just finished Mind Your Money program, which was just amazing. And I had the most amazing bunch of people. A lot of those people were, well, some of them are here, and they are therapists as well, and they're practitioners, and they will tell you, and you probably know yourself, it's really nothing to do with money. But when we talk about money, things get well ick, because money covers everything, and money brings up so much drama. It brings trauma, it brings arguments. It's like the thing we all chase. I don't know about you, but I don't know about chasing things that's ever worked for you. Like if you're chasing a squirrel, or you're chasing a man or a woman, or it doesn't tend to end well, and you don't tend to get what you want at the end of it. So the trouble is with money, we chase it. It's never, it just doesn't work like that. Chasing something down, hunting it down, doesn't really work. And that's what hustle and hard work and slogging your guts out, that's chasing something all of the time. And so it's interesting you mentioning about working hard to get this. You think, well, really? Because hard work is also perspective, isn't it? Depends on your perspective on what hard work is. Some people think that what I do is hard work, and I'm like, not really, I love it. So to me, I could do it all day, and that's the key with making money. But in case you don't know who I am, I'll briefly introduce myself and why I have the audacity to talk about money. Well, I haven't got the mansion with 15 chickens either. I don't have all of those things either. But the difference is that I absolutely, I 100% believe it's already there anyway, and money comes in incredible ways to me. But a few years ago, I was doing a little bit. I was doing a bit of, self-development work, like digging really, really deep. I was fresh out of a marriage and all that. I was like, I need to clear some stuff. This course came up about money. I'm like, well, I haven't got any money issues. So, but she was giving away with this course, she was giving a free marketing and manifesting. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. I'll just sign up to the money course to get the free manifesting course, because I'm fine. I don't have any money shit because I'm fine. So then I then got this money amount, and then boy oh boy did it completely, it floored me. First things first, it'd be interesting for you guys to hear that the first thing that this woman did, who's a multi-million pound successful, multi-million dollar successful money coach, the first thing she does is teach EFT. First thing she does. So for me, I was like, oh my God, this like multi-millionaire woman who does pretty much one thing, and that's talk about money. And the first thing she does is teach everyone EFT. So as EFTers, just quite a lot of validation going on there. She's not even qualified as an EFT practitioner, I don't think. She just tells you that's what you should be doing. Yes, she is Denise DT. She is. So it's the first thing she does. And I just thought I'd share that if you didn't know it, because it's a really cool thing to know. And actually, that was one of the biggest things I got out of the whole course was, EFT works. It's an amazing modality, but sometimes you think, really though, can you really make it off the back of EFT? And yes, you can. So I'm just putting it out there because it's really cool. So the things that came up, though, I was shocked about the stuff that was coming. EFT is Heidi muted her offerings, which is interesting because it always was. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I've only followed her for a little bit. So she's saying Denise DT was quite new to offerings. I've only been I was only part of her world for like maybe 2 or 3 years. But it was kind of mind blowing what money stuff came up, and a lot of the course I didn't really do. It's really funny, but just that was a really cool thing. But what I did realize was that it's not, the more I dug into it and the more I really looked into the universal laws and the more I understood quantum science and quantum mechanics and how things work, you know, on an atomic level, the money is just this thing that we have built to being something that's sordid as well as something that we glorify. But whatever we do to it, we're kind of making it something that it isn't. And you're all going to know that the biggest thing that we have is not the thing, the way that we react to things is not because of the thing or the trauma or the activity that happens. It's our perception of it. And the biggest problem with money isn't money, it's our perception of money. It's our perception of lack. And it's our living in this, oh my God, what am I going to do? We're focusing on what we're going to do all the time. And that is a really backward way to focus. I know it sounds like, well, yeah, but you've got to know what you're doing. And no, like we're getting too hung up on what we need to be doing. And as women, especially, we need to be focusing on who we're being. And then that gets us what we want to be. But we need to really stop trying to figure it out all the time. And in my opinion, of what I've seen and what I've experienced in the women who I see, and actually some of the men who I see, that women are absolutely incredible when they trust being and they stop trying to figure it out. They stop trying to be too logical and trying to figure it out all the time, because it takes us into quite a different energetic space that isn't, I'm not going to go into divine masculine feminine. It's not my thing at all. What I'm going to say is that the natural femininity is to be, and to be in your power, not to continuously trying to do and explain and figure it out. It's actually working it out is being. And I know there's a few of you here who are very, I mean, a lot more well-versed in the femininity side of it than I am, but it's just from, because I'm quite a logical person, and when you sat there, how am I going to make money is the one way you're never going to make money. So because then you're trying to make money rather than trying to follow your desires and your purpose and everything like that. So this isn't going to be all woo-woo, but it is really important that we need to understand that we're creating so much drama around money when we could just let it flow. I mean, if I was talking to you about love, you'd be like, well, you can't force it, you can't do this, you can't make somebody love you, you can't get it before it's ready. You'd probably, you'd all be on like, yeah, you and the more you want it and the more you're desperate for love, the more you attract the wrong people. And we all know these things, but it's the same for money. If we're there bad mouthing money, oh, money never comes to me, money, oh, but money's a means to an end, and actually it's money only goes to evil people. Money's going to go, oh, Jesus Christ, you're a bit mean, aren't you? In all honesty, why would money want to, like, if you imagined money, one of the parts of the modules I do in my course is money as your lover. And you think, how are you treating money? Because you're probably bitching about it behind its back. Maybe are you hiding it away so it doesn't get to go out very often? Are you like, whenever you get some money in, do you kind of squirrel it away and say, no one can see you because I had to make sure that you kept safe, precious? You know what I mean? Are you being a bit, are you being a bit narcissistic with your money, kind of thing? Are you keeping it in a really scabby purse? Do you like, or does it get to wear something pretty? I'm not, it's really like, do you like praise money? Do you thank money? Do you thank the universe do you find them and go, thank you, thanks universe? I mean, like, I've literally drilled into my kids, they find money on the floor, thanks universe, more of that please, preferably, maybe in bigger denominations, that wouldn't go wrong. Do you know what I mean? I found a penny, try for a pound next time. And are you having fun with money, or are you bloody like making it miserable? Because if all you talk about is bills and that you can't have anything, like, would you want to stick around? like, it's one of the biggest things that I think when you start thinking, would I stick with me if money was actually a lover? Would I think, oh, I'm being a bit of a cow bag to money, actually. I'm treating it badly, I'm ignoring it, and then I'm not letting anyone else have a go at it. You think, are you letting it free? Are you actually allowing this thing? I am trusting that if you allow it to leave you, it will come back. Because imagine you're in a relationship, you say, well, I'll keep you indoors because if I don't, you'll leave me. I mean, if your mate said that to you and said, yeah, my partner's like keeping me indoors because he's worried I'm going to leave, you'd say, oh my God, run, wouldn't you? And yet we're keeping money indoors because we don't feel it'll come back. So we're really, I mean, think how scared you are to let money go. When the one thing we need to do when we want to call money in is actually sit and actually feel abundant. And it's one of the hardest things to do is feeling totally abundant when you've got to make $3,000 by Monday. But that is literally how we have to get to. And I know that may sound nuts, but it is incredible what you can create. I mean, you will know that we are living in we live in a world where we've created everything, haven't we? We're living in an experience. This is a meat suit that our spirit lives in, and we have our own created universe. I don't think that sounds woo-woo to you guys. If that does sound a bit crazy, it's all quantum physics. It's not woo-woo. It's not spirituality. It is absolutely, life only exists because of the observer. That's science. That's quantifiable science, that things only happen because they're being watched. Some great scientific experiments that show this. So atoms behave in a different way when you're watching them to when you're not watching them, and it's fascinating. Slit theory, fantastic on YouTube. Just Google slit theory on YouTube and look at how atoms behave differently when they're being watched. It's fascinating. And even the thought of you watching them will change how atoms are. And atoms are everything. Atoms are what build everything. But, I'm not going to go too much into it all. But the only reason that my arm is my arm and not a table leg is just the sheer volume of probability and possibility that make it my arm. And that's where the atoms, but, technically we're all just atoms that have just been smooshed together, and that's how we are. But I'm not going too far into that. So I want to cover quite a bit tonight, and I want to start with belief, because I feel that a lot of people do they do manifesting, but I see a lot of people saying, well, if you just think if you just, they say, I believe it. But like with EFT and with any kind of subconscious work, if you say you believe it, but you don't believe it, it doesn't really work. So it's like, when we're tapping and we go, even though I have this thing, I love and accept myself anyway. You're like, but do you? Well, not really. Well, well, if we don't love and accept, if you're telling yourself you love yourself, and actually right now you really, really don't, then your subconscious is going to go, right, I'm out. It's not going to work with you when you're lying to it already. So we have to get really honest with what we're capable of believing. And big dreams are what it's all about. The big, these wonderful, I want to create my farmhouse, my 15 chickens and my 7 dogs and my 5 teenagers, or whatever it might be that's in your dreams. I'm only using that because that was an example before I turned on the tape. So I'm only using that because, that's in my head now. But if back of your head, you're like, yeah, it's never going to happen. I might have, but if I put up my vision board and then I can prove myself right by it never actually happening because it doesn't work. So I'll just put it there, and vision boards don't work. Whereas what we could be doing is working, saying, that's my vision, that's what I want to create. But what do I believe I can create now? What is actually within my scope of possibility now? And when we start believing what we can create now and making it happen, we start telling our subconscious what's possible. And some people say, well, then why have the big dreams? Because the big dreams are important because they create actions for the little dreams too. So with manifestation and things, so when you want your big, you've got your big ideals that you're not quite believing can happen yet, but actually you just want to make enough to, I just want to be able to not worry about the bills. I just want to make enough. I just want to be self-sufficient. I just want to actually make, a couple of grand a month so I can do that. And then you tune into that. You literally tune into 2,000, or whatever it is for you, 2,000, about 5,000, whatever it might be a month, £500 a month, whatever you want to do, is tuning into that and being open to every single opportunity and every single thing that comes, and noticing, not just open to the actions, but noticing when you are getting it. Because I tell you, something, without recognizing that you're already receiving things, the universe will just it won't give you more. If you're saying I want £1,000 a month, then actually, weirdly, you're already getting it. You just haven't noticed it, you haven't counted it, or you're kind of ignoring it, or you're kind of mean girling that bit of money because that money's come from my ex-husband and he's a twat. Talking from experience. So well, that doesn't count because assholes don't count in my money manifesting world. So, which I genuinely did. And so for ages, like, why can't I just get past this? It's like, because you're ignoring the 200 quid that your ex-husband gives you. Oh, okay. I have to put it in my little tracker, and I do it. Thank you, universe. More of that, please, from maybe a more abundant source. That'd be amazing. Because, and then I just do with it what I will. But what I'm saying is that you can't ignore or mean girl. And you might be better at manifesting than you think as well. Because a lot of people end up getting things gifted to them, like coffee or dinner. Now, what they want is cash, but people often take that for dinner, or they get bought coffee, or they get like a surprise. Oh yes, somebody gifts them something, or I think, so now we're judging money and how it appears. We're judging what we're calling in. So we need to also recognize the value of other things. So if you say you win a holiday, or you get a free gift card, or you get given books or something, or somebody gives you money off or discounts, are you counting that? And it sounds really, really nuts, but we've got to really start appreciating what we already have. I'm not going to go into gratitude because I don't. Gratitude and me have had a really interesting relationship. So I believe in being grateful, but I'd rather live in it than be a bit of a grateful for every little thing. For me, I kind of live in that, wow, this is amazing, thank you, but I don't feel I need to almost it's probably my stories, I imagine, from when I was sort of a bit of handmade, but I don't want to be thank you very much. I feel very like, oh, it's okay, thanks for that, as if I'm kind of being very overly grateful, because my parents said, even if you don't like it, say thank you anyway. I'm like, why? That's ridiculous. I don't want it. So gratitude comes in all sort of forms, but being really seeing what you're getting, being very clear on small goals, being very clear on what you believe you can do. And some of you might say, yeah, but I don't even believe in that anymore. I don't even believe I can even scrape by anymore. And I get that, but do you somehow scrape by? A lot of people somehow, yeah, but it's hard, but you still do it. And even if you are utilizing credit cards, even if you are completely putting yourself into debt, somehow you create something, you see opportunities. The problem is you're kind of looking in, or looking to receive in a way that isn't working for you, because you're coming from lack and desperation and chasing. So the fact you even have a credit card to use means you've actually got you've got capacity to use that money. I know it may sound really nuts, but where are you? You are, if you scrape by every month, you're still doing it. How you do it, you get to kind of choose. But we've this kind of this exasperation, which I see a load of people going through, this kind of, oh my God, when's it going to stop? There's got to be a point where when it stops with you. The only person, the absolute only person who is not creating money in your life is you. That's it. You don't need to be any more qualified. You don't need to be prettier, thinner, younger, older, have more time, have less time, be busier, less busy. There is absolutely nothing else in your life you need to have every single thing you desire. You have it already. Because if you can even think of the desire, it's already happening. You just have to grab it. And if you're not grabbing it, that's you. That's all you. No one likes that though. That's the bit where people hang up on me, to be honest. So you're all still here for now. And the reason it is all you, and like, we're, you're all tappers and things, but when I realized literally the only thing standing in my way, and when you've been doing therapist for being a therapist, and you've been in this industry, you've done self-healing for ages, like yeah, I've worked on my shit, but when it comes to money stuff, it's a whole different kettle of fish. You're talking about family stories. What have you been grown up with? What have you been told truth since before you can remember about money? What do you just know? I mean, you can start writing down, what do you just know about money that you just have been brought up with, that people like me don't make money? It's only people who stand on, you have to screw people over to have money. Oh, wow, I've got a gift. That old chestnut. Oh, well, I'm a healer, or I'm a caring person, and money's evil. So I don't want to make money because I'm just too nice for that. I want to be nice. I don't want to be mean. Yeah. And I grew up with you have to be in a cutthroat industry if you want to be personally rich. And even then it has to be old money, because new money's shit. And no one likes people who make new money. Yeah, well, I've got to make old money now. I've got to join an old firm to of what. And so so when I actually, it was so much so my mum I did not realize she was doing that at all, but nouveau riche, with a kind of I've said this before, with a kind of a squint on your face. So I'm working for this recruitment company, did really well, was the top in sales, because I like making, I was a relationship specialist. I mean, I literally created relationships, and people used to say, oh yeah, call Lucy, she'll get the right person for the job. Fantastic. That's what I did. And when they started paying me more than my capacity that I could cope with, I just did stupid things to get fired. Seriously. They had a rule about not wear, like they had a rule about like shoes, and so there I was, low cut top and red stiletto boots, and they were like, if you can't go and like win hundreds of $1,000 contracts, you look a bit like a hooker. I'm like, you can't tell me what to wear. And like, I knew it, but I literally was just like, no, I'll do what the fuck I want, because I went straight into self-sabotage. I was earning more money than I was comfortable with. I was being respected for it. It was new money. Oh my God, I couldn't even tell my mum how much I earned, because these people came from council estates, and people from council estates don't make money, or not money that you can count. So I'm like, oh my God, not that she's snobby at all, but it was like my mum was old money, but really poor. So old money, you have to like, it was just so confusing. So that's just like, and I didn't even know that was a thing, but it was just all this kind of like cloak and dagger. What was money that could be counted? What was money that can't be counted? And, and actually a lot of when you look around, what are other people's stories? Like, people are proud of poverty. Why? Like, why is it so cool to be poor? Like, oh yeah, wow, look at my story of how I managed to get through on a tin of beans in a month. How is that cool? Like, that sucks. Like, why can't people go, oh my God, yeah, and I just eat caviar every night because it just tastes good. I actually brush my teeth with it. That'd be really cool. Like, why can't that be a cool thing? But why are we so ashamed of it? So like, just imagine Just imagine if you had all the money in the world coming in, would you even tell anyone? Would you actually go, shit, I just made 100 grand this month? Fucking A. Would you? Because I bet you wouldn't. I bet you think, oh no, what if anyone found out? I mean, £100,000 this month. Oh my God. Do you know what I mean? But you can say, yeah, I'm struggling right now. Oh man, oh, my business, oh, it's tough. Is that not more what you're more likely to say than, yeah, fuck yeah, I charge 300 quid an hour. All right, all right. And not only that, but people are getting cured. It's fucking amazing. I'm amazing at my job. The first thing I did when I got out last night of we did course creation last night. It was incredible because all these women had just created these incredible courses. I'm like, oh wow, from even a shred of an idea 8 weeks ago, they have now got their courses ready to go. And I just went out and said to my kind of partner, luckily I'm not doing relationships, my kind of partner went, oh my goodness, I'm really good at this. And he was like, oh. I said, yeah, like, I'm really good at it. I really do get people thinking in a way that's different so they can facilitate their own. I'm really good at helping people do this, and they are going to fly. And that's what I do. I help people inspire themselves into action. And it's amazing to watch. And he was like, oh, yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's really cool that you think like that. Honestly, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but I'm going to keep doing that because it's so interesting because I was like so on a high for the next 2 hours. I was like, oh, thinking of all the possibilities of these, gosh, can't wait to do course creation again, because what about these more women and more people are going to get the impact out there. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. And I'm there going, me. He's like, you got to sleep, babe. I'm like, no, you're not going to sleep yet. I'm excited. And and that's not being negative, but it's just the sheer, no one does that. Like, who does that? And would you do that if you were creating shitloads of money, crazy amounts of wealth, prosperity just everywhere? Would you be ashamed? Would you be like, ooh? So it's getting really honest with, if you had that lovely vision board and dream board, and like we said earlier, oh, like I could have all this, but I don't really want all this. Are you being honest with yourself? And are you actually tapping in to, gosh, if I did have my gorgeous house, I mean, I want a retreat center. I'd love a retreat center. Like, people can come and we can then with a cold with a natural swimming pool, river, and just have people come and stay and just have awesomeness all the time. That'd just be amazing. That's what I'm bringing in at the moment. But I think, gosh, now I know I could have that, but a few years ago, no. Who am I? Well, I was too young because I had a young thing going on. I was convinced I was too young to be successful, so I just didn't. There's lots and lots of stories why I would never even be able to do that, because even if it was gifted to me, I'd fuck it up because I would sabotage the hell out of it, because I couldn't cope with that level of, I mean, the imposter syndrome would have gone through the roof. Who am I to think I can do this? What will people think? What if I just don't make it work because I mess everything up? I mean, all the stories come up and money magnifies them. And the stories, as much, I mean, I adore EFT with such a passion. I do, because it's just incredible at shifting stuff. But what happens when, I was just saying earlier, when you hit the edges of you've got the comfort zone. If you imagine your ball and you've got your comfort zone and you're in the middle in your little hamster ball, like, yeah, and I've got loads of space. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, star jumps. And then you get bigger and you start pushing boundaries and pushing out. And then the edges, you go, oh, this is a bit of a tight squeeze. What tends to happen when you feel really uncomfortable is, oh, this isn't right. I'll just make myself smaller again to fit into my little bubble. What we need to do is go, right, oh, wrong bubble, out we go. And it gets really uncomfortable. And people say it's the darkest before the dawn. It's just the most uncomfortable when all the edges are being touched, every nerve is being hit. The stories about what you can achieve are like boom, 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 bashing against this invisible kind of ball, and you need to just go poof. And that's and the wonderful thing about hitting those edges is, well, you will hit them again when you get to the next level, but you will recognize the stories. Because I always was under the impression when I first started EFT, when I first started healing and energy healing, that especially with re-imprinting and shifting our beliefs around, that once you've done it, you've done it. No, that belief, done. We are done. It is good. Off it goes. What I've come to realize when it's working with success and working with growth and real fast growth and expansion is those, we just have maybe healed one version of that belief. And we have those root core beliefs. Every time we get to a new level, every time we kind of hit our goals and we start crossing off the goals and shit, we are actually doing it now. We might be small and slow, but we are getting there. Those old devils come back. So new, the sort of the new level of discomfort will bring back another kind of aspect of the old belief. So you will find that, and what we can do as healers is think, oh, I'm just repeating a pattern. Well, you're not repeating a pattern. You're just, this is what you've come here to literally have the opportunity to crush, to actually not completely dismember your beliefs, but actually work alongside them to actually become everything you desire while still being pretty imperfect and having beliefs that are there that might choose to stop you. And you might not agree with me, that's okay. But from what I have seen, we get these repeating beliefs, and it's not necessarily a negative toxic pattern. In a lot of ways, this is just another aspect of the belief we actually have to challenge ourselves with, and we have to understand the new depth of it. It's like if you can't go straight to the root of everything all the time, because your head would explode. So the more you expand your consciousness and the more you expand your ability to bring into your reality everything you desire, the more you are then ready for the next level. And what I will tell you, and I think maybe deep down, or maybe anyway, is the more you choose to expand, the more opportunities you get to uncover all these aspects. So it can feel like, what the fuck, some of the time, like, really though? And that can be what it can feel like. It can feel exhausting. And again, that I sometimes believe that that's why people stop. They go, do you know what? It's all right. I'm scraping a living. I'm done. I can't keep healing. And so it's a case of actually, that's when it's working with it's actually being successful with our demons as well. It's actually being able to expand alongside the stuff that's maybe uncomfortable. Now, I go into all of this in most of my programs, especially more recently, I'm going into this quite deeply. So there's only so much I can go into that. It's just more to give you permission, I suppose, to not be totally healed in order to call in everything, because I believe that, I see hot messes making millions. Do you know, it's okay to not have it perfectly. And the thing is, our imposter syndrome, which I was convinced I didn't have, because I don't give a shit about makeup, hair, being clothed to go on camera, really don't mind. But then I did think that I had to portray an image of fully healed. That's what I was convinced. And that isn't the case, I would say. That's what I will maybe put out there. Right. I would also, we briefly touched on it. So I would really invite you actually in this moment here to let me just see who had to go there. Right, okay, cool. I would really invite you to, in this moment, be very honest with yourself and ask yourself, what is it? What amount of money is it you truly desire in total? And what amount of money are you actually looking to create now? Again, like with Mind Your Money, we did this in quite a deep level. I'm just asking you to bring your awareness to money, prosperity, an understanding of what you actually are looking to bring in. Law of attraction. Yeah. What are you actually looking to create in your life? And it's okay to be, it's okay to say, well, I want 10 grand a month or 50 grand a month. Because when you're in certain business communities, there's women making 500,000 a month. And you think, well, that can't happen. Well, it can. Whether you even, but it's okay even not to say, well, actually, yeah, it's not really what I want though, actually. Or is it? It's okay to, it comes up quite a lot. It's like, well, do you not want that because you don't believe you can have it and you're blocking it? It's like, no, I just not bothered. That doesn't do it for me. What I want is maybe 20K a month so I can live easily, fly wherever I want, buy whatever I want, have the freedom within my business to experiment. Because what a lot of people who have their own businesses, they want to actually do everything that they want that actually lights them up. And that's the whole idea. And actually that does create more money for you, because if you are only living in your genius zone, who is here has read the book, this one, anyone read that book, The Big Leap? Cool. Okay, really good book, dead easy to read, all about upper limits, basically all about self-sabotage. Great book, dead easy to read, asks some great questions. If you get like a free week, that's a book to read. So where was I? Yeah, so actually when you're only living in your genius zone, you stop doing all the jobs in your life that that you're good at, then you become more successful because you're cutting out the chaff. So actually the more money you make, because you're actually cutting out the jobs you don't want to do and you're having more fun. Now, when we are hustling, right? When we are sat there racking our brains, oh my God, what can I do? Oh my God, like something's got to change. And I know you're literally tearing your hair out going, what can I do? Like, what is it I'm supposed to do? The best thing you can do is go and do something fun or go for a nap. I tend to go for a nap because I genuinely like napping. But if I'm there going, oh my God, I've got so much work to do, and I'm sat there like, I've really got to come up with some amazing campaign. I've really got to do this, really got to do that. That's not going to get me anywhere, because I'm coming from a space of desperation and lack. And even if the words I write would be the same in that mode as they would if I was like frolicking around the field, the vibration is very important to how we put our message out there. You'll know because you'll see people's posts one day and go, I've done it myself. I've put stuff out there and not been entirely behind it and gone, I just got to put something out. I think, wow, that was a bit low vibe. And it's not what you say. There is a vibration to everything, be it words on a screen, be it an email you send, be it a photo you put out there. They are vibrational. So coming from a vibe of, I'm just going to do something, is not going to draw people to you, especially the people you want to be drawn to you. Because this is another thing, you might have a load of customers knocking on your door. That's a fucking nightmare. Honestly, like they just aren't your people, because you're putting out a very different vibration than actually you want to attract. So the best thing you can do is, when you are feeling completely hemmed in and like it's all going to shit and like you can't make any more money and you're like, oh my God, it's just so stressful, the best thing you can do is go and have some fun. go and do something fun. I'm not talking like go, you know, you don't have to go away for a week to Cornwall or whatever, or like Jamaica or whatever, but go and like do something that pleases you. And it doesn't matter what that is, right? And I've just, right, and I'm talking to Dan, Danny's listening, so I don't want to, but like, um, without getting all, like, there's me getting all flustered, right? The one thing you can do to create money is manifesting through orgasm. Just putting it out there. Nobody like, no one turn off. But Dan, and probably Danny's the one to talk about this. But look it up. Just saying. Like, it's incredible when you actually look into connection with source. When you're, I'm not going to go into this too deeply because yeah, sex magic, there we go. Yeah, like serious, doesn't have to be with somebody either. So I know that may sound, it might be a bit, you know, touching a bit, but we need to understand that we are like vibrational female beings and highly sexual. And I did not intend to talk about this at all, hashtag just saying. But like, we've got to understand that there is a lot of ways with which to bring in prosperity, and being totally connected with source and totally in, you know, and that's when we're most connected with source, is when we're having an orgasm. So I think it can be quite interesting to focus on what you're manifesting whilst I think it's really fascinating to get into that zone of thinking, but it's real, or sort of being actually. But because I'm not going to go into that, but I generally would, if you're looking at more fun ways to manifest things into your life, that's fun. Just putting it out there. And it is quite yeah. So I was leaving now. Shit, sorry. Talking about sex or not, or like solo sex, that's fine too. So yeah. I'm gonna put myself into trouble, but it's really fascinating when you kind of surrender to it. And but having fun doing something that you actually enjoy raises your vibration and changes the people that come into your world. It's quite incredible, but it also changes how you view the world. It changes what you're willing to open yourself up to seeing as well, because when you're in an energy of desperation, you miss everything because you're so focused on what you haven't got. You're not even looking for what's possible, because you know what, you don't even believe it anyway. You know, how many times yeah, I won't get that job. Yeah, what's the point? Like, why not just the assumption of success? Because what's the worst that can happen? You don't get it and you're happy anyway. Okay. Oh dear. You know, this is all about this shifting on how we're choosing to see things. And like I say, as and allowing the vibration to change around us. And like I say, it might sound woo-woo. And I know you know, if you know me, I do like to really understand the energy of it. But we've then got to take all of this belief. So the next step is, well, yeah, Lucy, I'm believing it. I get it. I do believe it. With every ounce of me, I believe I can have it. So are you just doing anything about it though? Are you actually taking the steps? Because the one biggest reason people do not manifest stuff is they forget to take action. They just forget to do it. They forget to actually, oh, wow, a great opportunity. Oh, well, yeah, I've got that amazing kind of download. Anywho, what's for tea? You just got given like a piece of incredible universal magic, and then you've got to make a cup of tea and not dealt with it. You've not done anything with it. You know, we've got to notice the opportunities and then take action on it. That's my downfall, not taking action. Okay, no, that's now your story, that's your downfall, you're not taking action. So that's what don't do thick faces, Danny. Isn't helpful either. So no, but you're not alone, and it's not a downfall. It's just that we've got to understand about self-sabotage. You've got to understand what we do. And you know that song, you do it to yourself, you do, and that's what really hurts. That's the song that plays in my head every time. I go, oh, for fuck's sake. And I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you my little story. Hang on a sec. I'm going to put my computer. Oh gosh, you'll see like my massiveness in a sec. I'm going to sidle out. I'm 6 months going on 9 months pregnant. Hang on. Honestly, the jokes that people are having about my you're really slim except for your bump and your boobs. Thanks. So so what was I saying? Somebody tell me. Oh my gosh, I was gonna roll. I just saw my thing going down. Type it. It was really important.
You're gonna tell us a story.
Yes, thank you, because you like my stories. Right, I'll tell you a story that's actually not entirely related, but it shows, it's a very brief story because it only just happened and it's fresh in my mind. So it's working from a point of a fear. Now, a fear of mine has always been, before I had children, that I was never going to have them, and if I did, they would be taken away. Goes right back to ancient Egypt, I realized. But anyway, so that's a fear of mine. That's kind of something I've been working on, but it rears its ugly head. So, note, marry a narcissist, have a child with a narcissist, get divorced from a narcissist, and then have to go to court with somebody who just tells lies. So I'm literally calling in somebody looking to take. I've now got to fight for the for my little boy and the rights for him. Totally great. So I think, no, I can do this differently. I'm not going to do it true to my heart and actually stick up for my belief and actually stay strong to my word. I'm going to try and make nice. I'm going to try and go again, and knowing this person is capable of everything, I'm going to try and make friends with this person who isn't capable of doing that. Okay. And I'm going against my gut and my heart because I'm terrified that what it's going to do is I'm going to end up in court. It's going to tell everybody I'm insane and I'll have to defend myself and I'm going to lose my son. In my head, and that's what I'm afraid of. So that's my fear talking, and it's making me do things that aren't true to me. I'm literally acting from, if I don't do this, if I just play nice, he's not going to do anything. He's not going to, and I'm literally doing, and I'm not coming from any kind of authenticity. I'm not showing, but I'm not being truthful with me. I'm acting completely from my own fears and my own stories. Now, as you might be able to tell, there's a lot of people who from the outside was going, oh, Lucy, you can't be friends with this person because this person's shown you over and over. But I was convinced that I had the magic to do what no one else has been able to do on the planet, but I could do it. And you know what? Hats off to me. It was a lesson I had to learn. But because I was resisting the possibility of having to fight in court for my sanity, because like, oh my goodness, lies everywhere, and that, like, it's absolutely fine. I'm now not worried about it. That's why I'm telling you, I'm there resisting it. I'm there saying, no, I don't want to go to court. I don't want to have to fight for I was so intent on not having to fight for my son. Do you know where I am next month? I'm in court having to prove I'm emotionally stable enough to keep my son. Right. So everything I was fighting for, I went through hell trying to stay friends with this person who was just doing exactly what they've always done, using my good nature to get what they want. And everything I was resisting, so if you heard that lovely little law, what you resist only persists. Resistance is futile. All those, they are totally true. And it was a wonderful lesson, because it didn't matter what I did, the more I was terrified of something, the more I was resisting, the more I was like, no, I don't want that to happen. I'll do anything. I will go against my gut, my heart, my judgment. I will throw it to the wind and do an act from desperation. And I'm going to act from not a place that's me. I was resisting it so hard. It just had to happen anyway. And I wouldn't have shared that with you if I'm not traumatized or anything. I wouldn't share that with you if it wasn't quite a beautiful showing of everything that I was scared of happened anyway, because I was acting out of fear and out of resistance. I wasn't facing it. I wasn't going, do your worst, mate. Jesus Christ. I was totally and utterly living in my stories and living in the fears that were kind of intrinsic in me. And I was acting from a point of desperation and chasing and not being authentic because of the and it wasn't coming from a bad place, but it wasn't coming from a healed, whatever place. It wasn't coming from me. And it's a really great, and I obviously had to learn the hell, but really funnily, I was actually reading I was reading 2 books, and at the same time, The Law of Resistance, and I happened to show up whilst in 2 separate books when I got the letter from the courts to say, oh, did you know? I'm like, oh, okay, all right, thanks, universe, gotcha. Finally, I gotcha. And it's so powerful the more we resist. And the reason I feel it's important with money, because it's like the same with everything, the more we chase it, the more we try and make it happen, the more we try and mold it to us, and the more we try and mold ourselves to create it, it's never going to happen. We have to show up with vulnerability. We have to show up being totally us, and you have to know how you want to work. How do you even want to show up? Because if you're doing things, you're constantly like, oh, I hate this part of my job. You either go, do you know what? I love this part of my job because I know where it leads, or you realize you hate it and you find a way to outsource it. Blah, blah, blah. That's a whole nother story. But we can't keep resisting. We can't keep resisting doing the work. We can't keep trying so hard, and we can't keep doing something that isn't working because we've started. I mean, how often do you hear people say, wow, I took this on, I can't stop now, I've done it for 5 years. What's to do for another 5 is going to be peachy then. That sounds like a joyous, sensible thing to do, but we all do it, don't we? Well, I suppose I don't, but anyway, a lot of people, you hear, and you must hear it with your clients as well, how can I give up on it? Because it sounds shit, it sounds really unhappy, but because people have invested time, money, emotions into something, but they're resisting the fact that maybe that was the lesson. Maybe the time, the input, the energy, the money invested in something was actually all part of the beautiful kind of tapestry of the lesson. And when it comes to creating wealth, we have to go so deep. But the beautiful thing is it spans everything. I don't know, like, so those of you, I won't bring up people who've done the program before, but those of you who've done Mind Your Money, the course that's not long finished, the stuff that came up, I mean, was it all about money? No. Was it all about kind of worthiness? About how much, actually your desires, what do you even want? How much do you value yourself? When it comes to pride, I mean, there's so many things. And the beautiful thing about working with money is once you start cracking your stories around money, your desires, actually being honest, like I said, dealing with those feelings of shame for you earning your 100 grand a month and telling everyone on Facebook, you have to tune into that shame and go, whoa, wow, where am I feeling that? Why would I feel that? It's really important. And it's, like I said, it's something that we do within the programs I run anyway, is to actually go into those difficult bits and go, ooh, why would I resist all of that? And another thing that I quite like, because I go and get quotes from people because I want to see, if I want to work with them, I won't just like bullshit people, but I'm interested in the amount of people who won't quote me. Serious, I'm trying to get a doula. For love nor money, I can't get someone to give me an invoice or give me a quote. Like, honestly, because these are healing women who, they know that I talk about money and stuff, and oh yeah, but but it's quite literally that's how people give me their prices. Uh, It's like whoa, and this guy was I was looking to buy some really high sort of detoxing mineral. It's quite expensive, like 50 quid a month you have to pay for this thing. Now, I'm not sure I wanted to find out more about it, but I said, all right, so that's what I need to pay each month. And he went, oh yeah, but don't worry. I'm like, oh my God, automatically you're now telling me it's too expensive and that you can somehow counteract the cost of it by doing, I'm like, what? Like, why not just say yeah? And it's fucking amazing. Why now you're making me think, oh, actually that's really expensive. So to me, how many times are you going, oh, well, it's going to cost that? Or how often do you say, oh, well, we'll just do a freebie? Or how many times are you kind of completely underselling yourself and not even talking about money and assuming that your clients haven't got any? Like, the assumption of prosperity is beautiful. I assume that anybody who calls me, and I assume that all of you at some point are going to work with me at some point. And some of you have, some of you will, some of you won't, whatever. But I'm making the assumption that you are all prosperous and that you all have infinite abundance, because why would I assume anything else? But we do. We assume people haven't got the money, so we have to lower our prices. But imagine if every person who you paid for your, for your feet, for your whatever, you paid them really well and they paid you really well. Imagine who'd have all the money in the world. Right? It would be the healers, it would be the people, the empaths, it would be the people who genuinely care about soul. And funnily enough, they're the people who don't get the money. I'm just saying, like, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? If we actually tuned in and if we actually saw money as this beautiful, loving energy that is a way with which we can have all our desires met. It's a way that we can live freely without stress and worry. Because another part of, another part of the universe is that we don't, the struggle isn't necessary. In fact, we're kind of going against our divine right as a human being or a divine beingness by struggling. Because if you think about when you are in lack, when you're worrying about how you're going to pay the electricity and you're bitching about fuel prices and you're not sure how much your organic apples are going to cost next week, and you're literally living in this kind of like all this, think about how much thoughts going in to not having enough, not being able to pay enough, chasing clients who weren't your ideal client, but you took them on because you were desperate, because you had no way of, so you had to take them on because your vibe was low, so you attracted somebody who wasn't in, who doesn't want to pay you, and they didn't believe in yourself and all of this. And right, if you didn't have any of that, you'd be a lot more useful, right? And the universe wants useful people who are happy, because when you are happy and abundant and prosperous, you are an absolute gem to the world. We are not useful people in misery and lack. So the universe, the divine God, whatever your beliefs are, it matters not. We were created to be abundant and prosperous and to serve in an abundant and prosperous way. We are not here to suffer unnecessarily. We are here to learn, and we've chosen to come down in the form we've come down into, the parents we came to the life we chose, because we were capable of, because we had a design to fulfill, didn't we? Whatever you believe in, all that, but we're not here to suffer. We can do it the hard way, but it's not necessary. And you're going to get to your pearly gates, so you're going to go meet your maker, or you're going to go to your soul route, whatever you call it. They're really not going to care if you had to get dragged through the mud or if you skipped through the fields. You still got there. So, yes, the journey is important, but we do not make it hard for ourselves. And when you've learned so much, mean, making money, I kid you not, the more fun and the more and the more kind of light and the more you kind of play with it, right? And the more you're going to be able to tune into your purpose. I mean, that's why the 3 things I do, for example, are Mind Your Money, Life on Purpose, and Course Creation Blueprint. They're the 3 things I've done now for the last 2 years. And the reason I do them is because finding your purpose, creating money, and then creating a way to have an impact so that you're not working every frigging hour of the day is an incredible way to live. And that's why I do them. I then do some other things in between, but they are the 3 things that I could now just, and that's, and they change people's lives. And when people do all those 3 things, it changes their lives, because I've created something really, really magical. I tried to put it all in one, but it just would take forever. So I do it in 3 separate courses. And it's like forever, people get a chance to keep coming back to not only experience the courses, but also we have monthly coaching sessions. So when you pay for it once, you get it all. And then if you buy 2, you get the 3rd one like in for free. So I really believe in it, but I also believe how powerful it is. So that's why I have this amazing rotational on Mind Your Money, Life on Purpose, and Course Creation. And most people who start it do them all, and then they create a business, they make money, and they would do the work, and then they hit their limits, so they come back and we do it together. And that's kind of what we do, and we work through it. And bear in mind, it's been going for 2 years, but already I've got people who are more successful than me, as in not more successful, they have already outshined me in money, or they may have more clients or whatever. I'm good because I'm literally having another baby, and yeah, I'm doing what I'm literally calling in what's making me happy, the amount of clients I desire right now. And that's cool. So if people, so yeah. And one woman, she was like, I don't know if I should say this, but then she told me how much she was earning. I'm like, amazing. She went, oh God, I was so embarrassed, because she knew, yeah, because we're really honest about money and stuff. She's been with me from the beginning, and she's decided that that's her mission, and that was fine. Cool. So which is really, really amazing, because I outdid one of my coaches, and I felt like, oh, does that mean, and it is a weird, because that's another limit that you can hit when you outdo people who are mentoring you. It can be like, oh, it's a bit awkward. But yeah, so that's why you'll hear me talking about purpose, you'll hear me talking about success, you'll hear me, I'm obviously doing this quantum success code, which is something really new and really exciting. I'm just really excited that starts this week. But that's why I do those 3 things. And that's why, if you are struggling to know what the hell to do, you might be like, yeah, I'm a healer, but until you actually know what your true gift is. I mean, I see it all the time. Yoga teachers, I see EFTers, I see energy healers, crystal healers, but they're like, yeah, but I'm here to help people. Most people are here to help people. Most people are here to do something beautiful, because that's the human nature, is here to help people. Some people are bankers, some people are financial advisors, some people are aromatherapists, but we're all here in some guise to be of service. They're really, most of us, even selling cars, I used to sell cars, I was still doing a service. People still need cars. Please, whatever it is, you're here to do a service, but you can actually make that. But when you know what it is you're here to do, then you can absolutely use that to create your life. So that's why I do Life on Purpose, and that's why I do Mind Your Money. And Course Creation is for those people who actually want to then say, do you know what? I do one-to-ones. It's driving me mad. How do I turn one-to-one into groups? And that's what I do, because that's what I do, and that's what I've done. I've made it really easy. So that's why I'm just trying to give you an idea of how life can work when you find what you're here to do and to be, and when you actually work with your own rhythm. So my own rhythm is working at between 8 and 1, 8 p.m. and 1 in the morning. that I don't like getting out of bed in the morning. I was having this chat, wasn't I, with you, Dan? I was like, how do you want to work? Like, I don't want to get out of bed before 10. So if I home ed my kids, I didn't just home ed them so I could stay in bed, by the way. I would have just got a taxi if I thought school was best. But like, we genuinely, you know, so I home educate my kids, which is fantastic. We have an amazing life. I go river swimming and I work in the evenings because I'm tired and grumpy the rest of the day, especially if I have to like engage my brain. So I either work first thing in the morning or last thing at night, and that is me. And that was such a beautiful thing to be able to do, and I could do that every day. And then I have no problem with how much I give, because, and for over giving and for, you know, talking to people and stuff, because I genuinely could work into the night. So that's why I have people on the other side of the world who tend to work with me, because if they're morning people, they'll work with me. It's really cool when you give yourself permission. But that has to start with that. It's stopping against this slogging. It's the, racking your brains how to do it. Yes, there are some skills you'll need to write content. Yes, there are some understandings about working of things, but they can come. What needs to come from you is your soul's purpose. And like I say, I'm running Mind Your Money, which some people have been here. Start that in October, and I start Life on Purpose in January. with about a 4-week-old baby, so that will be so much fun. They're fine at that age, Doddle. It's fine. It's when they get to 10 you're screwed. Honest. Oh my god, do you know, because she hears so much that I say, but she hasn't got my baggage, so she's like, fuck, you know, you just think, oh, you just know so much, don't you? You know, because she does, because we do a lot of talking about this stuff. How about teenagers? What about teenagers? Don't even. I've got a tween. Like, I really need a teenager. Jesus. Not 4 of them anyway, Tallulah. Yeah, they're so hard. They are so hard. They know it all. Yeah, do you know what? I just go with it. She knows it. Crack on. She thought she could live off marshmallows, so she tried. Crack on. She did it for about 3 days. Oh my lord. She doesn't live off marshmallows anymore. But she knew that, yeah, so that's fine. Some people just need to know themselves. But if I would like to leave you, because I don't want to go on, oh my gosh, I have already, but I don't want to go on sort of crazy. And like I say, a lot of how I run most things, it's really, really, really intuitive. But I would really implore you to dig very deep into actually what you desire and be honest with it. Your big, big, big desires, but things that you actually would like to see just materialize in the now. Ask yourself if you even believe it, because if you don't believe it, go smaller. Literally start bringing into your world what you believe you can achieve. And understand about vibration. So that isn't to say that you can only work if you're super happy. Like, you've got to make sure you're like well all over it. But if you are at a sort of a lower ebb, or you are in a more contemplative mood, if you want to work and call in money, maybe it's a different way to, maybe you need to actually tune into your desires again. Maybe you need to understand, there's different ways you can work depending on where your vibration is. But if you are out there looking to get clients, it's coming from a higher vibration. Your highest vibration will bring in the highest vibration towards you. Everything is vibration. Crystals are vibration. Everything has got a vibration. Everything has got a way it will work. So you putting yourself out there, like I say, in desperation and not in abundance, not going to work. I mean, you don't get abundance. You don't. Before you have abundance, you have to feel abundant. That's it. There's no other way, because if you don't, you're not going to, because if you don't see it already, if you don't feel it, if you don't just go, God, life. I mean, I just say to them, I'm lucky to be alive. Look at the sheer audacity of the world. And I chose to be born now. Wow. And like, so in a day, in sort of, in one day, things like so many things can go wrong, and you feel like you're breaking apart. And you think, but I chose this. how much did I back myself before I got here? I mean, like, you know, you get to turn it around, and you can have, I mean, I have been in bits 1 minute and I've gone, wow, but I chose this. I chose to allow myself to break whenever I needed to and get rid of the dust and get rid of the shit and rebuild without it. Because every time I break, every time I think I can't get up again, I am just shedding what's unnecessary. And I think, wow, how amazing am I? And I go, whoa, I was hysterical 5 minutes ago. I am bossing it now. And you just, you know, it's like, we don't have to be the person, like I said, we've said it before, we don't have to be the person we were 5 minutes ago. We can, you know, we can build and rebuild and change and break. We can break a million times. You know, we're just getting rid of the dust. That's it. We're getting rid of what's not necessary. And when you are a healer and you do a lot of work on yourself, that is quite a rapid turnaround. Sometimes we can break a lot. But remember, every time you break, some people only kind of go into hot messes maybe once a year. If you're doing it a lot, you think, wow, my evolution is fucking on point. I am bossing evolution right now. I mean, choose to see it differently. You know, give yourself like some, you know, you chose to be part of the world when the world is doing, I mean, like, I'm not going to get political. I generally am not going to, but you chose to be part of a world when the world is doing what it's doing. Like, wow, you know, you know, this is the time of your life. No, you know, it really is. This is incredible. And I truly believe that the work I do is quite revolutionary in helping people completely find who they are and completely call in everything that they desire without guilt or shame. So I'm going to send you any information to work with me because I'd love you to work with me. That doesn't mean that you have to, or I'm expecting you to, or whatever. But if you want to get over and really understand your money stuff, you need to, I believe you need to work with somebody. And if you want to truly find your purpose, I also believe you need to work with somebody.
Yeah.
So, do you want to say something to Ludic? Do you unmuted yourself?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh.
It just did it by itself. It wasn't me.
Okay, there you go, cool. So the Mind Your Money program is it's basically £111 a month. It's gone up, and that's where it's going to stay now. It was cheaper before, but I'll be adding to it, and it's happening twice a year starting in December. The Life on Purpose one is the same, but if you do both of those, you get automatically put into the course creation. So you get all three. If you've already done one of them, you'd have got a link yesterday just to do a top up, so you can actually come and join Mind Your Money. You've done course creation, and if you've done the other one, if you want to do course creation, you'll get an email through soon to come and do the other one. So depending on what you've done with me, you'll get an email to say, listen, you can just top up. So people who've already worked with me always get like loads of benefits and loads of kind of stuff to continue working with me. So that's really cool. And if you're new to working with me, yeah, that's as much as it's ever going to cost is £111. It's over 12 months, and then you're in it for life. I've made it really easy because I keep seeing ones everywhere, and I made it really, really easy, and it's so worth it. But it is an amount of money that you have to back yourself with, and that's why I do it. So it's an amount of money that you back yourself. It also means that the amount of people I want to serve in each program means that I can have the amount of people I desire in each program, because I don't want I don't like them huge. And yeah, we kick off in December with Mind Your Money for the next round. Like I said, we've just finished one. Not December, October. January starts Life on Purpose, and course creation will start shortly after that. So yeah, so and they basically, yeah, so it's either, so individually, everything I do individually is 1111 or 111 a month. If you buy two, you get the third one free, because that sounds cool, because actually they all work really well together. And if you've already worked with me, then get in touch and I'll give you the breakdown of what it can all be. But yeah, it's worth it. I've got testimonials coming out my ears. And the beauty is that when you, like I say, when you start doing it, you get access to everything, and you see me. Well, if you've done course creation, you'll see me once a month. And if you do Life on Purpose and Mind Your Money, you'll see me once a month. If you do all three, you see me twice a month anyway, if you want, for coaching on specific things. Course creation is quite specific on how to actually do a course and how to do the hook. And I'm not going to go into that because I'm literally just finished that last night, but that's very fresh in my head. And it's amazing because every single person who turned up to every single night, 8 weeks, they turned up, they've all got a launch date for their program in September, October. And that is just incredible. I mean, I'm just like, and they're all different. I mean, they're just so, it's blown my mind. So this is me telling you that working with me works. And so if you're inspired to, just do it. If you're not inspired to, don't do it. That's cool. Because that's pretty much it. That's about salesy as I get, because vibrationally you'll know. I would implore you to get those desires down and get what you want to create down when it comes to money, and get very specific about money. And also the big thing is to acknowledge what you're already getting, like such a big thing. And the idea of how you're treating money. I used to run a course, and I did, it was really good. It was really, really good, but I didn't enjoy it. So I stopped, but I had loads of us signing up for it. I'm like, it was like, yeah, it's not my thing. I was good at it because I've had anorexia, and I've been obese, and I've been bulimic, and I've had eating disorders. And so talk about food, and I understand food and why people do food. And I've also a nutritionalist. I've been a health person most of my life, and food was a big thing. So I helped food addicts, but it wasn't my love. It was just something that I felt I had to do because of my issues. I felt obliged. Oh, what an awful word, obligation. I really felt obliged. But when I remember, I'll never forget this lady who, she said, I've just got, and I can't stop eating chocolate rolls. I was like, right, okay. And we were talking about it, and then I said, okay, so how do you treat the chocolate roll? I mean, imagine the chocolate roll was like a boyfriend or something. She was like, oh, I cheat on it with the digestives, you know. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I genuinely like feel bad for the chocolate rolls when I've run out, because I sneak the digestives. And I only have one of them, but I will eat a whole packet. It's almost like they're my dirty secret. I'm like, wow. So she was like, I said, she actually wrote a note, like a little note to the chocolate rolls, and she wrote a letter to the digestive biscuits explaining how she was behaving, and how she never touched either of them again. And she'd have been obsessed with chocolate rolls. She didn't even know why. She just felt the urge to eat them and sneak them, and this kind of naughty thing. But when she ran out, she'd have one digestive biscuit because they were a bit more sacred in her head. Obviously, there's a story behind it and yada yada, but she saw the relationship she was creating, and what she'd actually, and how she was behaving, and she just never desired it again. And another thing, she had a real thing with Diet Coke. She realized where that come from a real poverty point of view. And we actually had the Diet Coke there with her, and she opened it up, and oh my God, it made her feel sick. And she went through maybe 6 cans a day. We're talking like for the last 30 years. I've checked in with her, actually. I haven't seen her for a year. I checked in with her not long ago. Did you say, how you doing with you? She's like, I can't even look at it. And her husband couldn't believe, because if he forgot it from the supermarket, he'd have to go back and get it. She wouldn't not have Diet Coke in the house. I mean, she was really addicted to it, and literally 2 sessions, bam, done. So when she started viewing it as a relationship, and she started viewing it as something she was mistreating, it does change everything. So I would really encourage you to look at your relationship with money, and relationship. I mean, I believe everything's a relationship. Well, everything is a relationship with everything, isn't it? So, but when it comes to money, it's so obvious how much we're abusing it. No worries. See you later, Heidi. So yeah, that's what I would advise. That's what I would implore you to do, is to really dig deep and to make up some really uncomfortable figures and see if you tell the world and feel it. What stories come up? Think about your stories. It's all about the stories. So with all my masterclasses, I like people to go away with things to think about and actual actionable things to do. Yes, I absolutely. The way that my business model works, for example, so if you're in business, I do masterclasses, I do workshops, and I do challenges. Out of them is where I get my clients. They either work with me or they don't, but that's how I operate. Simple as that. So I do what I love to do what I love. So if nobody signs up, I don't care, because I love my job. So that's where I come from. I don't do this because I'm desperate for people to sign up and I'm really, really struggling. I do it because I love this. And I get a lot of referrals and things as well. So this is not coming from this. So that's that's my business model, that I do this so I can keep doing it. Simple. And it works for me. And at the only time it doesn't work for me is when I try to really get it complicated and I try to really make it really crazy. So yeah, so that's what I do. I do what I love to get what I love. So if you want to be able to live like that, and even when I have no clients signing up, do you know what? I'd never worry about money. Even when I'm like, oh my God, I'm like 4 months pregnant. Me and my boyfriend just broke up. I've got 2 children, I home educate. Oh my God, I'm going to take him to court. I never once think, oh yeah, well, I can't afford a solicitor, or oh no, I better have beans this month. I never have I ever stopped buying organic apples. Never have I ever stopped living in the way that I feel is correct and gone into lack. And when I do, that's when the shit starts to fall. So if you want to learn how to completely live in abundance and to find your purpose and then to create something magical, I would utterly recommend you work with me, because it's amazing. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording so that if you've got any questions, you can ask without being seen, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to say goodbye to anybody on the replay, and you'll get lots of annoying emails, and then they'll stop because I don't like writing emails. And I'm going to and I'll end the recording, and then we'll have a little chat if you want. So I'm going to just go bye bye.